Let me give you the day that can turn your whole life around. Not a year, not a lifetime, a single day. And there are 4 parts to that day, 4 ingredients. Catch them, apply them, and everything can change. The first is disgust. Now I know disgust sounds negative, and it is, but don't miss this. Sometimes a negative emotion can create a positive life. Disgust is when you finally say, I've had it. Not another day, not another excuse, not another tomorrow. Enough. I met a lady once, powerful executive, earning more than most could imagine. But do you know how her story started? She said, Jim, one day I asked my husband for $10, and he said, what for? She told me, that day I decided I'd never ask again. She went back to school, took the classes, studied opportunity, climbed her way up, until one day she became vice president of a company in New York. She said, Jim, I kept my promise. I never asked again. What a day that must have been. The day of disgust. Some man one day looks at his beat-up old car, embarrassed to drive it 1 more mile, and he says, that's it, I've had enough. And that very disgust becomes the trigger for a brand new life. Don't curse disgust, welcome it. Because sometimes disgust is the only thing strong enough to shake you awake. Disgust without decision, that's just frustration. But when you decide, that's when the game changes. Decision clears the fog. Decision cuts through doubt. Decision says, I'm going this way, and I'm not going back. Go home tonight and sit down with a notebook. Write out the decisions you've been postponing. Decide, I'm going to take care of my health. Decide, I'm going to get out of debt. Decide, I'm going to learn the skills, read the books, pay the price. You can't drift into greatness. You don't stumble into success. You decide. The day you make the decision is the day your future gets a brand new blueprint. And the last part, the most powerful of them all, is resolve. Resolve is one of the strongest words in our language. Resolve says, I will until I understand, until I finish, until I succeed. How long should you give your baby to learn how to walk? A week? A month? Number. You say, my baby will try until. Until what? Until it walks. That's resolve. Resolve is promising yourself you'll never give up. Resolve is saying, I'll do it or die. When you reach that level, when you mean it that deeply, life bends in your favor. Resolve is the steel in the spine. Resolve is the courage to pay the price, no matter how long it takes. So imagine this day, a day when disgust rises up and says, no more. A day when decision writes it down and says, this is the new path. A day when desire burns hot enough to fuel the journey, and a day when resolve locks in the promise, I'll do it until. That day, that one day, becomes the turning point. So let me ask you tonight, have you had enough? Are you ready to decide? Will you let desire pull you forward? Will you resolve once and for all that you will not quit until? Because when you do, that day, the day you finally say enough, that day becomes the day your life turns around. And here's the truth. It doesn't take a miracle. It doesn't take luck. It just takes a day. The day of disgust, the day of decision, the day of desire, the day of resolve. And that day, my friends, can be today.